Hi, welcome back to 28 Pan American. Today we'd like to show you how we use our wood stove. So there's a few parts of the stove that you should know what they are and what they do. First of all, the doors. One on the right, just lift that up and that'll let you open both sides. This side doesn't move. Close it back up again. We've got the primary air vents, so they're completely open when they're all the way out. And then perhaps the most important thing is the damper. The damper is all the way open when it's out like this, and all the way closed when it's all the way in like that. We'll talk more about the damper in a second, but when you're starting a fire, you want that thing all the way open in this out position. We've got this kind of hokey little fan thing. It's pretty cool. It just kicks on because of the heat. So once this stove gets hot enough, it'll just start spinning and help blow the air into the rest of the house. We've got an old baking tin with some water in it so that it replaces some humidity. Another super important and helpful thing is this little stovepipe thermometer. And so this really helps you know what's going on with the fire and how to make any adjustments to the damper that we want to make. Over here, we've got a pile of wood that'll be chopped and ready for you, as well as an assortment of fire starters like newspaper and cardboard. Cardboard is great. Cardboard burns hot and fast. It's a great way to get your fire started and going. So what I'll do now is I'll stack some wood in there. I'll show you how I think is a good way to get the fire started. And then we'll see how it goes. Open her on up. It's mostly clean. There's some random stuff I threw in there when I was cleaning. But I like to start with 3 kind of bigger pieces and put them in a line like that. Mostly I like the bigger ones because it helps elevate the others and it gives you room to stuff your fire starters. And I like to orient them like this because that's where your 2 errors are going to suck in. It's right there between there. So then newspaper is the old go-to. Kind of crinkle up some newspaper. Maybe put a couple in each shot. You don't want to put too much stuff in there because then it'll choke it and it just won't be able to breathe when it's trying to get going. But if you only put 1 piece in there, it's just going to burn itself out. If you've got some convenient cardboard, sometimes I'll put like a little piece in there just as a layer. But again, you don't want to put too much and choke it. Then for the next course, I actually like to put some smaller ones that are going to catch a little easier. And then I just kind of tuck any extra cardboard around where it seems clever. It's worth setting it up right and it'll just burn better for you. Alright. Now, before we light anything, again, we're going to make sure the damper is all the way out. If that damper is closed, when you start burning, that smoke is just going to come out into the house. Another thing that's really going to help before there's really a lot of fire burning, you want to keep this door closed as well. I'm going to start the newspaper on both sides here. And then I'm going to close this. Just kind of crack this, because again, it's just going to make it, you want to make sure that smoke is going up out the stovepipe. And if you have both these doors wide open, it's just going to kind of billow here until it's got a lot of heat roaring. So you can even kind of see the smoke is trying to come out, and then having the door cracked like this, it's kind of getting sucked right back in by that draft. So that, you can even close them all the way, but I find having it just cracked a little bit really kind of brings in a lot of good fresh oxygen to help that fire get going. right at the beginning here, this is kind of the crucial bit. This is when you want it to actually get going, so you do kind of have to just sort of sit here, babysit it, give it more cardboard, give it more newspaper, whatever it takes. So I'm going to do that for now, and once this is up and roaring again, I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay, so just a quick update. It's been about 5 minutes. I had to dink around with it. It didn't. I think this wood's a little cold and wet. I just brought it in. Just fed it more cardboard and more paper. And as you can see now, it's starting to roar in there. At this point, you can have the door open, and for some reason the smoke now goes up rather than in. And then but we don't really want to mess with it too much. We want to get this fire really good and roaring. So if we look at our stovepipe thermometer here, it's just past our 200 degrees. If the camera will focus, maybe take a little step back. There you go. So we just want to let this roar. We want to get it going. So all I'm going to do right now is go ahead and close the door. I'm going to make sure these 2 air vents are wide open. We want as much fresh air going in. I want the damper wide open. I want this thing to just breathe and get burning. And it's going to take another 5-10 minutes. So I'll just hang out, keep an eye on it. And then when I see this thermometer start getting up here, so it's kind of at the due north, kind of like between 300, 400, 500, kind of there. Usually doesn't get much past 400. That's when I'm going to start kind of dampering down and trying to control this fire a little bit more than it is right now. Trying to control this fire a little bit more than it is right now. So
what does dampering down mean?
That's when we push the damper in, and that kind of just like slows the flow of oxygen. So instead of the wood just burning really fast, the wood will slowly burn, and you'll have a nice slow. We are back to the wood stove. You can see on our thermometer we're just a smidge past 400. So this is when we want to start kind of reining it in. We can open the door and take a look at it. It's roaring in there. It looks good. We got some coals glowing. And so now what we want to do, I want to take this damper, we want to push it in. And I like to push, if you kind of look, you don't really want to go past this nub with the tip of the gold handle here. This is a pretty good place to be. If you go all the way in, like, smoke is going to come out because it won't have anywhere to go. And so the whole idea here is we want to close this because we want to trap the hot air in there because we want this big old box of metal to just get hot. That's really what's going to make the room warm, is just by capturing that heat inside the stove and making the stove itself just radiate that heat out. So I'm going to dampen it down there. You probably can't hear it on the video too, but you'll hear it when this is going. You can hear the air getting sucked in. You can kind of listen to the fire crackling, and as you push this in, you'll hear it just kind of mellow out a bit. And that's really it. Now you're to the nice part where the room's going to start to get warm and you just kind of like chill. I generally just start, if we're going to be home all day, I'll do a fire in the morning and then just let it die in the evening. So it's like dinner time now. We just started this. Maybe before bed I'll come back and throw another couple pieces of wood on the coals. But generally I find if you make a fire in the morning, you make a fire in an evening, it's going to be nice and pleasant in here. So at this point, all you've got to do is grab a book and cozy up.